What's up, everybody? Welcome to PSI Love You XOXO episode 61. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
Well, I don't know why you said it so emphatically, but I appreciate.
I needed to. It's not green beans. It's green beans.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty clear.
That was a trick.
Now lean in. I want to mat your hair down here. You got this one. There you go. This one part was
I'm beyond even caring at this point.
Yeah.
The
Why is that?
Well, I'm gonna get my hair cut, this weekend.
Yeah, get
then
ready
I'm
for
gonna
that
go
Thanksgiving.
home.
Tea-giving,
Yeah,
as we
exactly.
call
So
it.
I gotta, my hair grows wildly, and so I have to, really time that out. I've had this plan in place 6-7 weeks now.
Right.
So
Let it go till Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it dolled up.
Right,
You're not shaving, right? You're just trimming it up? What are we doing here?
the way I did it last time, so not 2 times ago,
Okay.
when I looked like a neo-Nazi.
Yeah,
but
no, we don't like that one.
The second time, well, because I just kind of went in, balls out, flying by the seat of my pants, and
Do the whatever you want kind of thing?
yeah, and I used to get my hair cut like that. I'm fine with that, but
Sure.
I needed a little longer. So
Yeah. Well, this is your best look. Period. End of statement.
this one right now,
Yeah. And I don't mean like right now in terms of how it's grown out right now, but I mean when you have the body and you have the hair. Because I've seen it before where you let the hair get long and you have no beard, and I've seen it where you shave the head, no beard. I've seen the beard with a lot of hair. And this is the
we
best
get it.
one.
You've seen every permutation. We understand.
Exactly. This is my favorite.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's gonna have to get shaved down.
Yeah. Do you ever look back at the year-old photos and look how young you look?
I think I'm aging like very well, to be honest.
You're
I do look
aging
like-
incredibly well, but I'm saying when I was looking at an old conversation with Colin for something, and man,
I look.
we
terrible.
both look babies.
I just look terrible.
Yeah.
The it wasn't until the beard. Let's be honest. I've always been great looking. Well above average. Well above average.
Okay, sure.
And can't even keep a straight face saying this. And no, but it wasn't until I grew my beard when I was like 28 or so that I was like, yeah, that's right.
This is it. This is where it was meant to be.
That's because I can't imagine never get like.
How long
I'm
has it
always
been consistent shave now? Or I'm sorry, consistent beard now?
I think like September or October of 2014 is when I grew my beard.
Huh? Really? Wow.
Because it was when we had decided to quit IGN and I was Comic-Con. I had a beard at that point. We went to Kentucky for my birthday for the boy ride.
Yeah, the boy ride. That was not a great name, but yeah.
Yeah. But you named it that nonetheless.
I know.
Bourbon Boy Ride.
Not one of my best picks, but yeah, Bourbon Boy Ride. We did take a boy ride together.
And I had it then.
Yeah.
So that was 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Believe it or
crazy.
not, we were in Kentucky 2 years ago.
Yeah. I just shared on Facebook a little memory of Follow the Leader shoot 2 years ago.
Oh,
It's crazy.
that's nice. You sharing some memories?
Yeah. You know how it
Gotta
is.
share some memories.
You gotta. If you don't have memories, you know what you are? You're just a brick. And you know what happens to brick, man? They get put in the wall, and then the wall gets bigger and bigger.
The wall just got 10 feet higher.
That's what happens with the bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bricks that Donald Trump's going to make a wall out of.
He's not gonna. It won't be a brick wall.
No, I don't. I wonder if it will be a wall at all.
I doubt. I very much doubt it. Colin, have you been playing that Watch Dogs 2?
Nope, sure
Colin,
haven't.
play that Watch Dogs 2. God damn, am I having fun in Watch Dogs 2 right now, ladies and gentlemen? And I'm obsessed, Colin, with the little things. What's going on? I haven't done a real mission in Watch Dogs 2 in days. Because I get in there, I wander around. I'm sorry, is this annoying you? I wander around the city. I go, I scout. I use my drones. I use my little rover. I'm getting all the secrets, all the little pink jobs that are hidden around. And then when I you know what happens? I go by a store and I'm like, why not? And I pop in there because I've been stealing everybody's money, having a great time. I pop in there. I buy a new outfit. I look damn good. Wander back out into the city. Go have some fun. What have you been playing if you're not playing that Watch Dogs 2?
Call of Duty.
Still.
Pretty much. Yeah. So, I mean, this past week from when we recorded the show the day before the election. I took the election day off and watched that. And then everything kind of fell apart. So, I've been far up politics ass the last week or so. So I played Call of Duty probably for, I don't know, 7-8 hours since then. And that's all I've really played because I've been focusing on politics. I've also been focusing on watching sports and Black Mirror I started, which I'm really into, the TV show. So, but Call of Duty, I think is fantastic. I think it's one of my favorite games of the year. And I think I only have 2 missions to go or something like that. I think I've done all the side missions. I'm flummoxed by people that are flummoxed when I say that Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is better than Titanfall 2.
As a fan of Titanfall and somebody who enjoyed Titanfall 2, I have no idea how someone can sit there and say that Call of Duty or that Titanfall is better than on a single player front. It's better than Call of Duty.
Oh, it's not even close. Like that's why I can't understand that either. And I know it's going to be unpopular because everyone loves to hate on Call of Duty. That's fine. I really don't care. But in every single way, it's better. It's better looking. if that's what's important to you.
Better characters.
Sounds better. Characters are
story.
way more interesting. The antagonists are way more interesting. So both protagonists and antagonists are more interesting. The gameplay's better. The story's better.
You're a big
the
fan
settings
of
better.
the open mission stuff too,
Yeah,
right?
the structure is better.
Yeah.
It doesn't really even feel like a Call of Duty game. I'm really actually quite shocked at how great it is. Now, I think Call of Duty is always great, but this, because this is an unusual year, especially the fall with shooters, where we have immediate comparisons all around it. And I think Titanfall 2 out of the 3 games is the weakest by a pretty significant chunk. Now, again, I'm talking only in terms of single-player campaign. If you are playing for multiplayer, I've heard bad things and good things about all 3 of those games online, and I've only really spent any sort of significant amount of time with Battlefield Online. But I don't presume to know enough about the online ecosystems of these games to speak to them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in terms of structure, in terms of feel, in terms of stickiness, Infinite Warfare is, frankly, I think superior to both of EA's games. And I just really enjoy playing it. Now, it has a similar problem to Titanfall with me, which is that in Titanfall, I didn't want to be in the Titan at all.
Yeah.
In this game, I don't really want to be in the Jackal,
Yeah.
although
Which
I
is
would
their space
rather
plane if you
be
didn't
in the
play.
Jackal than be
a
in the Titan. Specifically because I can wrap my head more around, as specifically the way I play it. The Jackal's easy, and you just have to get through those sections. They're not complicated at all. They haven't made like a space flight sim that's of any depth. But I said before that I felt like Titanfall 2, and not having experience with the original Titanfall, and I like double jumping. I like fluid and quick arcadey style movement in shooters, and the games are going in that direction now, and I respect that. I think there's a place for the weighted kind of more grounded games as well. But I said in my mind, Titanfall 2 went a little too far with the parkour. I didn't feel like I had full control over my character. I felt like there was too much that I could do. And I understand that that's a weird complaint, but for me, I like to have a specific skill set, a specific way to play the game. And I feel like even though Call of Duty has certain, double jumps and zero-G combat and all that kind of stuff, I just feel like it's way more metered and way better executed. I just think this game is far, far superior. If I had to recommend one or the other, I'd recommend Call of Duty. Absolutely. If you are looking for a good campaign, and like we said, it's got a mission structure that begs you to do things in different orders, and I think that that's really cool. Like it's all, it doesn't really matter, but you're unlocking things and finding people of interest and killing them and doing all these kinds of things, and it just makes you feel like you're getting something done as opposed to just going through the motions.
Step by step, here's the next part. Yeah.
I think it's really, really great. I think
Yeah,
that
I've only played a little bit, far less than you have, but that was my takeaway too, because I come off of playing Titanfall 2 and being disappointed and having so many people say that this is an amazing campaign, playing through it and being like, the mechanics are fun, but I don't understand why this is supposed to be head and shoulders above the competition. And so then to get Infinite Warfare and pop that in and immediately be like, I like these characters more, I like this world more, I'm more invested in this from the get-go. You know?
Oh my God, the storytelling just shits on Titanfall. I mean, and we didn't, Taylor and those guys from Naughty Dog, I mean, we're not surprised about the caliber of the game. What I really think is cool is that it's like Mass Effect in that it portrays this galaxy, or this solar system, really. It's not a galaxy like Mass Effect, although Mass Effect didn't necessarily start out that way either. I mean, it's about the beginnings of finding a galactic community, but it's about a futuristic human society that is spaceborne, and I think that that's really cool. So they're not getting, they travel faster than light in some respect. I don't really understand how they use that technology, and that's in the lore, I'm sure. But it's cool to explore these different planets. I get a huge Mass Effect vibe just out of the solar system screen, reading about the planets, going to different things and doing things in different ways, and then kind of reaping the benefits of that. And I really think it's just a pretty special game. I didn't have expectations one way or the other for Call of Duty. For someone who plays it every year, I almost never have expectations for it one way or the other. I just assume it's going to be Call of Duty, and we'll judge it based on that. I know some people think it's weird that I like certain ones and more than others, and that's fine. Titanfall 2 to me, there's a massive distance, a massive gap or a gulf between me and the way a lot of people feel about that game. And that says something to me.
We're the minority for sure, you and I, but there's plenty of people in our camp. Because I do get response all the time on Twitter from people who are like, I felt the same way about Titanfall 2. I don't understand it. Now, granted, the overwhelming majority is always in the YouTube comments or on Twitter being like, you guys are crazy. Like, it was amazing and it was awesome for X, Y, and Z.
Well, the reason I bring that up, Greg, is because the gulf exists, even though I think actually Titanfall 2 is arguably actually a great game. It's just that people are talking about it like the be-all, end-all. I think out of the 4 shooters I played, the AAA shooters, it's by far the weakest of this year. We can include Doom in that group, which I don't think it touches at all. But it's not quite the gulf that exists with me in Assassin's Creed 2, for instance, where I think Assassin's Creed 2 is authentically not even good.
Yeah.
And so there's a gulf there with me and a lot of
I
people
hear
too. So these things happen, but I do want to reiterate that Titanfall 2 isn't bad.
No,
it's no less than good.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
It's
Is
just
I
that-
enjoyed the campaign. I enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed the multiplayer. I'm just well, there's a whole topic of me talking about or why on the Gamescast, but it is that thing of like I just don't get how people can think it's so amazing.
I think I mean, the more I play Infinite Warfare, the more I realize how empty and lifeless
Yep.
Titanfall 2's campaign was. I just don't, I think you really, you don't have to, but to get the full context, you're actually obviously going to have to play both of them. And I'd be surprised if you didn't come to that conclusion in some sense, but if you don't, that's fine. I mean, we're all going to disagree. But, yeah, I think this is just a stiff year, a year of stiff competition, I should say, for shooters. And in any other year, Titanfall 2 probably would have stood out more, but not this year. Yeah. There's no way in hell. Battlefield 1's way better than Titanfall 2. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is way better than Titanfall 2. And Doom is way better than Titanfall 2. So that speaks... Now, when we're still saying good or great for Titanfall, then that speaks highly of those other games. And I think that you definitely have three of those games in the top 10 easily for the year for me. Okay. That's basically what I've been spending my time with. And then once that's over, I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't give a fuck about Watch Dogs. I've tried to care.
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy is going to be there, but I'm saying I have a little bit of time now.
Sure.
So I'm going away next week. I'll probably chip away at some Vita games. And then when I get back, God, Robinson's out there. I haven't played that on PSVR yet. I still haven't even tried Eve Valkyrie or Battlezone on
That's
PSVR.
Crazy. As big as you were for Eve.
Yeah, because it's just like there's no time. Sure. You know, and because I split time between two places because I'm at errands all the time. PSVR is just not convenient to bring around with 100%. Me. So it's not because of the headset actually, but because of all the shit that you have to bring with you. So it's just kind of sitting there in my bedroom and it's not plausible to play right now. So I'm excited about getting through this because I'd like to get back to Tomb Raider, which I thought was really a lot of fun. And then I want to see what Dishonored 2 is supposed to be pretty good. I don't think I'll play it, but maybe I will. I'm excited to have some time though to make those choices.
Take a breath,
and then when we get to the winter break, I'm going to start really cruising through some shit and just, kind of figuring out what I've missed and all this. So I'm excited that we're almost to the end of the year and that
I'm excited for time off. Yeah,
down.
even next week with Thanksgiving, the end of the week, taking 2 days where I can sit there and play Watch Dogs nonstop and try to get everything. Talking about Watch Dogs is always interesting because I know you're not interested in it necessarily, and so it's always hard. I think when only one of us has played the game, not to turn into a lecture. I
don't care.
Timbo 8811 writes in with an interesting thing that goes beyond just Watch Dogs, but I'm going to use my Watch Dogs example here. He wrote in, of course, to kindoffunny.com/PSQ, just like you can, to get your question on the air and says, "Hi, Greg. Hi, Colin." He says to pause for the response, though. I'm pausing for your response.
A really long episode.
Potentially sarcastic, he says, too. I had a question about the conflict that arises between tone and gameplay more and more often nowadays. I was reading the IGN review of Watch Dogs 2, and one thing they bring up is how the player, playing a hacktivist, pushing for social reforms, undoes or potentially undermines his own goal by the option of letting players be a mass murderer. We also ran into this problem with Mafia 3 and how any comment on race relations in the US was also undermined by the fact that the hero, an African-American male, lies, steals, and kills his way to the head of a criminal organization. He winds up embodying the stereotype of black males that caused all the trouble recently with law enforcement and black Americans. Another IP where this crops up is Uncharted. Our swashbuckling, charming hero is a mass murderer who, unless he's a sociopath, should really be bedridden with PTSD for all the lives he's taken. Though I get it, the bad guy started it. Drake still has shot hundreds, if not thousands of people in the face. My question is this: can games be fun without us killing stuff? As games explore more and more to do with social issues and become more realistic in topics they try to cover, does it create more and more dissonance between gameplay and message, where no matter what the message or problem is, the answer is a gunshot to the face? He continues on, but he wants to know our thoughts on it. Where I find this interesting is that I haven't read the entire IGN review, just browsed through to see where they were coming down and what was happening. For me, shooting in Watch Dogs, firing my gun is so foreign and weird. Like, there was a point yesterday when I was playing where I was going after one of the research points, or maybe it was a paint job, whatever, and there was armed guards outside, and there was nothing there for me to hack to, like, lure them away or blow up in their face or do any of these, like, little tricks to get people down. Because for me, in the character that I play in that game, you know what I mean? My version of him is sitting there cross-legged on his laptop and sending in the drone, sending in the rover, tampering with everything to knock people out, to then move in and get whatever he needs and get out while everybody's knocked out. And so this is the one situation like, oh, I couldn't do that. So I brought up the weapon wheel, had a shotgun I had forgotten about, had my pistol, had my taser. And so I took the shotgun and started shooting. And it felt so jarring and weird. And it looked so crazy to see this character Retro that I like so much, that is this happy-go-lucky dude blowing people away. And what was fascinating is, like, as soon as that was done, I was like, well, never going to do that again. That's not how I'm going to play this game. That's not what I'm going to do. That's not who this character is to me, right? And I think that's the thing for your question, is that games can be fun without violence, of course. I think Watch Dogs can be a fun game of just at knocking people out, tasering them. I'm sure there's situations in the game where it's going to be way easier to kill, but that's the same thing always was with like Metal Gear, where you could go through and, just knock everybody out, but it was way harder to do that than actually do that. For me, I think it comes down to the player and how you want to play, and I'm glad there's that option. And I bet there's hundreds of thousands of gamers who are going to play Watch Dogs and shoot everything and never think twice about what they're doing. And I don't know if it's reinforcing any stereotypes or anything else. It's how they want to play that game and what Grand Theft Auto means to them, what an open world means to them, what letting loose means to them. And bringing Uncharted up is always that interesting point that we make fun of Drake all the time, and the fact that how many people he's killed in those games and how it's all played out. But the fact that in that world, it feels natural, if that makes sense. It's not until you sit, at least for me, I can only speak for myself, I guess, where you sit back and you think about all the shit Drake's been through, and you're like, man, this gotta be really fucked up. But in the pulp action adventure they've built, that universe they've built, that comedic sense of, how somebody gets shot once in the chest in a cutscene, that's a huge deal, but you blow all these people away. Like, that is so well done, I think you forget about it. The strings disappear and you just see it for what it is. Whereas for me, the opposite is true when Watch Dogs, when I go out and shoot people with a shotgun, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel natural. This isn't that world.
Yeah, I think that there's a place and a time for killing in games. And I think that is an overwrote mechanic that we have relied on for a very long time because it just makes sense to us. I think it's generally mindless, but I also think that that's the nature of the game. So like when we're talking about Call of Duty or Battlefield or something, I mean, that's what you do. I like that there are games that give you options and that things tonally resonate with you when you don't kill. So Dishonored 2 is a great example. You can beat the whole game without killing anything. And I think that, and it makes it way harder and you play it for way longer, but that might be the intention of the way the game's meant to be played. And unfortunately for Watch Dogs, it gives you leeway, it sounds like, to kill, even though that doesn't necessarily make sense for the character or the tone of the game. This goes back to the right and wrong ways of playing games and how people say like we talked about Witcher 3 and they're like, well, you're playing it wrong. And I'm like, no, I'm not, because the game lets me do it. So like the example that I use is like if I sit down and play chess, I love chess, right? I sit down and play chess and we move a few pieces and then a guy takes a pawn and moves it horizontally across the board like a rook. And I'm like, well, you can't do that. That's literally not allowed in the game, right? Yeah. But if a game allows you to do something, then it has to in some way fit tonally or thematically or in terms of just sheer gameplay that I think is really important. And so I like the idea of having different options that don't have anything to do with killing, because I think for every Doom, which is all about killing, and I think that's great. I have no problem with that. I take no offense at killing things in video games at all. I like that, but you're right, or he's right. In Mafia 3, it's all about the tragedy of violence, but you commit violence the entire game. That's all you do. Yeah. And it doesn't make any sense when you really think about it. So there's a place and a time for those kinds of games, but I like that more and more we're able to play a game like Virginia or a game like Overcooked or a game like... These games always existed, but they're sticking out to me more and more because I'm not necessarily tired of the violence. I'm not a crybaby. I'm not one of these people with Battlefield 1 when everyone's like, I love Battlefield 1, and then they did some stupid memes online and suddenly everyone was offended by it. I'm like, You're playing a game where you're fucking killing people. I think that's what you should be most offended by. Use your brains. But at the same time, I do yearn for these games that are just a little different. Sure. I especially am drawn in, even though I don't play many of them, I am drawn in by the idea of a game where you knock people out instead of killing them, where it challenges you to say, like, how can you not kill these people? You could easily blow through this game killing everyone, but wouldn't it be more interesting if everyone was alive? And that's the thing about where it works for me with Watch Dogs and the narrative I'm building with it, and is the fact that for me, DedSec, right, their whole deal is that they're still in my game, because I'm not advancing the story and I'm not sure if it changes. I doubt it does. They are still the brightly colored, fun, young kids who are just trying to take down corporate America, expose all these things. So clearly, my guy wouldn't be killing all these people. That's not what it's going to be. So when it is, for me, it is that thing of like, I'm sure
even yesterday, what I thought about before I equipped the shotgun, because that was a brand new approach. Before I equipped the shotgun, it was that thing of like, maybe I walk away from this collectible and come back when I have more of my hacking tools up to speed, where I can, send in the drone can attack, I'm assuming eventually, and all these different little ways to get them and knock people out rather than going guns blazing. But I wanted to see what that felt like. You jump in and you go, and I discover that's not what the game's supposed to be. Now, this leads to another question, Colin.
Okay.
This one comes from Sabi, we'll say. Sebastian is his full name. He signs off with Sabi, his Kind of Funny forum name. He went to kindoffunny.com/PSQ just like you can. It says, hey, Greg and Colin, I listen to this podcast every week, and something I hear brought up a lot on this podcast, the Gamescast, and many other gaming podcasts is immersion. I'm not entirely sure what this means. Are people talking about feeling like they are the character they play as, or that they feel like the world around them feels real? I always think about Greg's Red Dead Redemption story where he killed the dude with the dead wife because he felt bad for him. Is this an example of immersion? I honestly don't feel like I've ever felt something like this. I'm always aware I'm playing a game. Sure, I get emotionally invested with the story and characters like Joel and Ellie, or the investigation team in Persona 4. I've even cried in games because the characters go through something that makes me feel sad. Could caring about the characters be considered immersion? Can you guys explain to me what people are referring to when they talk about immersion? And am I not enjoying games to their full potential because I don't feel immersed? Keep up the great work and everything you do for the rest of the Kind of Funny members. Sebastian, P.S. This episode airs on my birthday, and I'd really love it if you guys could say happy 20th birthday from you. So happy 20th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Sebastian. I think immersion for me is never, I forget that I'm Greg Miller with a dog next to me. It's not that it is that thing of, I always know that I'm playing a game, but it's playing a game and not thinking about the mechanics of the game and what X will do to A in terms of a gameplay level. And like Watch Dogs is a great example where I'm having a lot of fun in Watch Dogs, but I'm having fun because it is a Ubisoft game where I'm running around collecting shit, checking things off the map. When I'm playing Watch Dogs and all of a sudden the frame rate starts to go into shit, I'm like, oh God, like that's all part of being immersed in the experience and sitting there and taking it for what it is. But like, think about when you watch a really good movie, I'd assume, Sebastian, or something like that, where you're just like so on the edge of your seat, locked in. Not that you I guess you forget your own problems, but you don't forget who you are. Yeah,
immersion to me never meant that I feel like I'm the character. I talked about this in the past with first person perspective and with character creation, where I've never once played a video game and been like, I am Commander Shepard. I can't even imagine playing a video game like that. But it doesn't mean that you don't understand that you're making the choices or they have agency, and that's a different kind of thing. Gaming agency in games, I think, is actually essential, way more important than immersion. The only time I felt immersed in the way that we talk about immersion outside of video games is with VR, where I forget I'm playing a game. And that's happened. I mean, that happened even with Job Simulator, which I think is fantastic, where I'm just like, I forget that I'm actually just not in the real world right now. Mm-hmm. But to me, immersion, when I'm saying something is immersive, it really does mean it's about the world and the environment and about the story. So it's about being caught up in the action as if you are a bystander, as opposed to, so you're bystander instead of, or you're like a omniscient narrator or something like that, where you're making decisions and controlling the way things go, but you're not there. You're not necessarily there. You're watching it through a camera. You're watching it, and I think that's plenty immersive. Small I immersive that we talk about with games. I think that's kind of what it means to me. People saying that they, I respect the way anyone plays a game, but if someone to me was like, I played this first person game pretending it was me, or I played myself in Skyrim or something like that, doesn't make any sense to me. I can't even imagine what that's supposed to mean. I like the idea of play. That's why I always say with Commander Shepard, like, he's not me. Commander Shepard is Commander Shepard. That's why I use the Commander Shepard, bald, shaven Commander Shepard. Like, it's like, that's the character. It's not me. I'm not the one on the Normandy. I'm not the one flying through the galaxy. I'm not even pretending.
You ain't fucking these people in the shower.
I'm not fucking these aliens.
You ain't taking Garrus's weird antennae and putting them up things.
No. And then, I mean, maybe I would in real life, but
sure.
But that's not where I'm at in that particular game. So I think that's what it means to me. But I do agree with him that we play fast and loose with that particular definition. I think the definition that means the most, the word that means the most in terms of the way we describe games at an academic level, I think, is actually agency. And that's not always important either. And the idea of agency is changing things or having choice. And people are like, well, games that are linear don't have agency. And I'm like, games that are linear have plenty of fucking agency. It's a matter of shit. A game that has no story can have agency. A game that is only story based with no choices can have agency, because it's not only about the literal choices you're making, but about how you play. And this ties back to the original question from the first person about Dishonored or about Watch Dogs or something, where it's like, that's all about agency.
Yeah.
You know, because the game gives you enough leeway to do whatever you want, enough rope to hang yourself with if you wanted to. Although
that agency is tied up with the immersion, right? Where like it was immersion breaking with the chugging I'm talking about, but it's particularly shooting people with that shotgun yesterday, where I was like, whoa, like I haven't seen the game act this way, so now all of a sudden I am very cognizant of it is a game, and I'm like, well, what would happen if I treated this like GTA and just ran around shooting bystanders in the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not doing the thing where I'm driving the car to the pier and jumping out at the last second and having it smash out. And I don't know, something I talked about when I talked about Watch Dogs in the Gamescast was the fact that it's not the gritty, realistic GTA, right? But it's not the PS2 goofy ass GTA. We're somewhere in the middle there with these bright characters, but in a real city, and it feels like a real city in a way that I want to act in a real-ish fashion, right? Where I'm not just fucking around, screwing around, punching people out for no reason. And part of that, of course, is that I feel like my guy is a good guy. Like, so no, I don't beat up bystanders. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm only stealing money from the people who are getting their like VIP targets because I need the money for this clothes.
And that's agency.
I have to have baller ass clothes.
It's all about.
And so I'm building my own world, which is making me immersed, which is then broken when I go outside of the norms that I'm creating for the character. In the same way, the IGN review sounds like it's faulting it for this optional thing.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think you can fault. It's again, it goes back to the Witcher 3 argument. I don't think you can fault people for playing a game the way the game allows them to play it. So the chess analogy works perfectly. Like if you play chess against a person and treat your pawns as a rook, someone's going to call you out and say it's not the game literally can't be played like this.
Yeah.
But in Witcher 3, it was up to me to do all the side quests and totally just drive myself nuts. But the game let me do that. The game let me do that with no consequence. So I use my own agency in that respect to ruin the game unintentionally for myself by doing that, but the game let me do it. There were no parameters. This is why I think there has to be parameters even on open world games about saying like you really shouldn't do this anymore. Like I know it creates a sort of like screen door over the idea of open world or non-linearity, but at the same time, like I do have a problem with those particular design choices as well. But in terms of it's appealing to me to give people choice in the way they play. And I encourage players to understand that even if you're playing a linear corridor-based shooter, you still have agency about the way you kill the enemies, about the weapons you use, about the way you go about things, if you stealth kill things, whatever. The end result has to be the same, but so too is the end result of a Mario game. You know, like just point A to point B. That's pretty much it. So I like that we're getting to a space in games, and we've been in a space in games for a very long time where there's more to it than just killing, and there's also more to it than just gameplay. And I know the gameplay is the most important thing 99% of the time. It's not always the most important thing, but it typically is the most important thing. But there are other ways to play. Virginia's a great example. Virginia doesn't have gameplay. But it's great.
Yeah.
Gone Home doesn't have gameplay, but it's awesome. Journey has a little more gameplay, but it's not what it's about, you know. But then there are games like Abzu, right, that try to give you gameplay and then meaning, but the gameplay sucks and it actually ruins everything else about it. In my mind.
And how are you defining gameplay? Because I think I could make a case that there's gameplay in Gone Home. You have to collect these things to understand what's happening to advance the thing to get out of
gameplay
the house.
To me is mechanical. So
like
using
a jumping, a shooting.
Using sticks to interact with things is the very most rudimentary way you can play a game, and that is gameplay. Just like pointing and clicking is gameplay. But I look at gameplay as purely mechanical. And I do think that is the definition of it. In a more literal sense, the way you play the game is the gameplay. But I don't know that we necessarily use it like that. It's similar to how we apply the term adventure in genres to adventure. We know what adventure games are, but we could use that term way more loosely.
Sure.
You know, Zelda used to be called an adventure game, but it's not even remotely an adventure game. It's not even an RPG. It's an action game. So
action. It's a third person action adventure.
So here's where it comes down to, I think, with us in this industry is that we and I've said this for years, these words must have definitions and we must adhere to them. And since we can't decide what some of these words mean to different people, we just kind of spin out into our own definitions of these things. It's the same argument I used to get into with people where some people claim that Metroid Prime was an adventure game. I'm like, in what world? In what universe is Metroid Prime an adventure game?
Oh, you're exploring.
It's a fucking shooter. You know? Like, it's a first-person shooter. So, but we had a disagreement, not you and I, but me and someone else had a years-long disagreement about this, where I thought he was fucking with me at some point. I'm like, are you kidding me? But that's because we don't have
hard and fast
definitions yet.
Yet.
That we all agree. We don't have like an AP style guide. You know?
Yeah.
But how could we ever do that?
There was talk well, now you couldn't anymore because people like us exist. There's so many fringe people on, fringed in quotes like us or whatever, people on YouTube that have smaller followings that are really passionate that actually make them matter. But I remember way back in the day when there was talk of IGN and like 1UP, and I think a couple of like trying to get a bunch of the heads together to sit down and try to write like the rules of what this was. And then that fell apart. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is PS I Love You XOXO. It is kindafunny.com's PlayStation podcast. So go there, watch the other shows, subscribe to the other YouTube channels, back us, support us, do all that good stuff. It is the #1 PlayStation podcast in the world, and it posts every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, rain or shine, on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and podcast services around the globe. You might also be interested to know that we are going to PSX. PS I Love You XOXO Live is happening at noon, Sunday, December 4th, out of PSX in Anaheim. We will be there gabbing away for your amusement. It has now been confirmed that David Scott Jaffe is not a coward. He has agreed to come on the panel. The first guest is a lock, Colin.
Glad to hear it.
Me too.
Always like to have
Me
Mr.
too,
Jaffe
big
amongst us.
Me too. Colin,
Yes.
let's begin the show with what is and forever will be Roper's Report. Time for some singular possessive news.
There are 7 items on the list.
A
So it's
small baker's dozen.
yeah, just a handful of news.
a
This week.
handful baker's dozen.
Not too crazy, nothing too nuts, but some interesting things in here nonetheless that we'll get through as rapidly as we are able. Number 1, for the 4th month in a row, Xbox One outsold PlayStation 4 in the United States, according to the NPD Group. That means that in July, August, September, and October, PS4 was beaten by its rival the first time in a 4-month or 3-month consecutive window. In addition, Microsoft confirmed that Xbox One outsold PlayStation 4 in the UK and Australia for the month of October as well. We should have software sales for the month in the time for next week's show, so we'll wait on that and we'll have that next week. But in the meantime, understand that PS4 is being beaten by Xbox One in the United States and other Western countries.
Enough to catch him up, you think?
No way. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't care. I don't own stock in Sony. Second of all, I think that it's an anomaly. I wouldn't be surprised if it continued through the year.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think the Pro is enough to bump them?
Maybe. I mean, it seems like Pro is doing pretty well in some places. I saw some stats in the UK, but again, these are all relative numbers. I don't trust. Nintendo does the same shit where they're like, 3DS sales are up 450%. I'm like, because you sold 3 of them last week, and now you sold 14 of them. You know, So we'll see. I think that the demand Pro seems to be doing well, but I think people thinking that Pro is gonna like be this
Set the world on fire.
I mean, I think it's insane. So we'll wait and see. But it's just interesting. It's just worth noting that Xbox is bringing its game the last few months for sure. In the market, frankly, that matters most, which is the US. Number 2. Sony has revealed the best-selling games on PlayStation Network for the month of October. As always, these are digital sales only. The top 10 best-selling digital games for PS4 were in order: Battlefield 1, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition, Mafia III, FIFA 17, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Battlefield Hardline, NBA 2K17, Rocket League, Titanfall 2, and The Last of Us Remastered.
Rocket League.
Yeah, hanging on. The top 10 best-selling digital games for PS3 were in order: FIFA 17, Watch Dogs, Little Big Planet 3, The Last of Us, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, Pro Evolution Soccer 2017, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Far Cry 3, and Tomb Raider. The top 10 best-selling digital games for PSVR, this is the first time they've ever done this, were
very nice.
in order: Job Simulator, Batman Arkham VR, Until Dawn Rush of Blood, PlayStation VR Worlds, Here They Lie, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Eve Valkyrie, Gunjack, Harmonix Music VR, and Sports Bar VR. The top 10 best-selling digital Vita games were in order: Dragon Quest Builders, God Eater Resurrection, World of Final Fantasy, Darkest Dungeon, Valkyrie Drive, Bikini, I guess it's called, Downwell, Minecraft, Tales of Hearts R, Sword Art Online, Hollow Fragment. Where is the mouse? I can't see my fucking monitor.
Oh my God.
Jesus God.
Do you need a chamois cloth for your
No, it's
eyes
good, it's
or your
good.
monitor?
My brain.
Whoa.
And finally, Hitman Go is number 10. The top 10 best-selling PlayStation classics were in order: Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Bully, Red Dead Revolver, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Nemesis, The Warriors, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Tomb Raider 2, Manhunt, and Tomb Raider 3. PS4 DLC charts were dominated by Destiny, Dark Souls 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and others.
How about that Job Simulator? First off, awesome they put out PlayStation VR games on this list. Thank you very much. But Job Simulator at the top. Wow, I totally would have expected Batman.
Me too, but Job Simulator is fucking rad.
I don't know. That wasn't a knock against Job Simulator. I just thought that Batman would have Batman behind
I agree.
it and everything would go.
I concur.
But so these are digital sales only, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there a physical job simulator? Because there was a physical Batman, yes?
Yeah, I think there was. I don't know
maybe-
if there was a physical job simulator.
I'd like to see that combined, which we won't ever, which sucks. But I'd love to know if that was how it worked or not. If people really wanted the disc-based Batman version. You know what I mean, Kev Dog? He's shaking his head. No, he doesn't know.
I don't see it on Amazon. John. Oh, wait. No, I don't see it. I don't see it on here. It's possible, I guess. So there's that. I want to extend a special congratulations to Square Enix and to those who bought PlayStation Vita games put out by Square Enix this past month. They supported us with 2 particular games, Dragon Quest Heroes, which is at number 1, and World of Final Fantasy, which is a late release, which is at number 3. Continue to put your money where your mouth is with publishers that give you games like this. They could have very easily just put these games on PS4 and disappointed all of us. So let Vita fans need to rally around these games, and it seems like they have. I was really quite pleased to see Dragon Quest Heroes at number 1.
Fuck yeah.
Or Dragon Quest Builders. Number 3, it looks like that long fabled Marvel game that Telltale Games is working on is Guardians of the Galaxy related. Word comes by way of a document released by the striking voice actor union SAG-AFTRA, which released a list of games with voice acting deals in flux. An organization called O'Farrell Enterprises LLC is listed next to 2 games: The Walking Dead's 3rd season and Guardians of the Galaxy, the video game. The assumption that this is Telltale's game simply comes from O'Farrell Enterprises' relation to both games, with one of them a confirmed Telltale game. So a little deductive reasoning. As of the time this podcast was recorded, however, we have no verification from Telltale on the veracity of this claim. Sounds pretty buttoned up to me, but it's
exactly.
possible. It could be an entirely different game. Remember that the sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out in, I think, 2018, right? So,
I know it's next year.
Oh, next year. So,
Yeah.
so then maybe day.
I want to say it's spring next year.
So I don't think that we get out in time for that, but maybe. So maybe we'll see more at the VGA.
Yeah, that's the whole rumor, right? Of the Game Awards, they'll do it like they did Batman and put it out there. I think that's a great fit. I'm actually really excited for that one. I think that would make so much sense, right? And here's this group, this team, right, that is known for humor and being funny and having weird interactions and weird, relationships, not only with each other, but then with what's happening outside of them, right? To give that to Telltale and have them make a Guardians game that can explore the universe and have all these goofy little side things that are happening in there. That'd be fascinating. It'll be interesting to see if it's at all tied to the movie universe or if it's just on its own comic-y thing.
Number 4, this is a bit of a spoiler for Watch Dogs, so if you guys can tune out for the next minute or so if you don't want to hear it. But it's interesting news. It says, is Watch Dogs 2 teasing the next Assassin's Creed game? It sure seems like it. So here's the deal, according to Kotaku. The game, which takes place in the San Francisco Bay Area, whisks you away to Stanford University at some point. That's down in the valley. While there, you meet Elliot Chen, marked as a marketing director at Ubisoft. Naturally, his phone is hackable. Here, Ubisoft seems to poke fun at itself as Chen and another character correspond about the leaks happening with Unity and Syndicate, 2 Assassin's Creed games that were actually leaked. The interesting third component is the mention of a game called Osiris. Osiris, a reference to Egypt, could correspond with rumors that an Assassin's Creed game will take place in ancient Egypt. Nonetheless, the player is then tasked with a mission called Ubi Stolen that has you breaking into Ubisoft HQ, and things progress from there. We won't get into it further, so spoilers done. I thought that was pretty interesting. The rumors about an Assassin's Creed game in Egypt have been long winding.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that is going to be the return, although they seem to be going somewhat sequentially as they get more modern. So I don't know if I know that that's not totally true, but they do seem to be getting more and more modern. We went from the American Revolution, for instance, and from pirate time, kind of piracy and all this to
Industrial Revolution.
The Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
And I assume we'll get, I'd like to get to the World Wars. I think that'd be pretty cool, but so I don't know if they're doing that as a plant tease or whatever. I like that they put it in there, though.
I like it that they put it in there, too. I would think in the context, though, of leaks, right, that they're probably poking fun at the rumored Egypt one.
Number 5, Vivendi is stepping up its seemingly hostile takeover of Ubisoft and now owns about 24% of the company.
My God.
Additionally, Kotaku is reporting that Ubisoft executives have been accused of insider trading by French regulators, an accusation that Ubisoft has denied. Interestingly, the accusation seems to have nothing to do with the hostile takeover, but instead stocks sold by 5 Ubisoft executives, including Ubisoft Montreal CEO. So the accusation is that they sold stock in the weeks before delays of Watch Dogs and The Crew were announced. In 2013. This matter is ongoing, but it's important to note that Ubisoft flatly denies the accusations, and there are no official charges yet pending. Nonetheless, an interesting little wrinkle.
I got carried away there. Sorry. Not Yves Guillemot, not mentioned there, obviously. When you started to say the CEO of Square Enix, then you dropped the Montreal as I was freaking out because my boy, Mr. Guillemot, he's got to be on top of this. He's out there. He's fighting the good fight against Vivendi. He wouldn't be doing this to us.
No. Number 6. If you're going to PSX in Anaheim in early December, you may be curious as to which publishers and developers will be showing up to show off their wares.
We'll be there Sunday the 4th at noon. PS I Love You XOXO live with David Scott Jaffe and Tim Geddes and other guests.
Here's a full list via the PlayStation blog. So here are the publishers and developers that are going to be there in case you guys are curious. It's a long list. Activision, Adult Swim Games, Alien Trap, Alonzo Martin Company, Arcade Distillery, Bandai Namco, Berserk Studio, BitKid Inc., Blue Mammoth Games, Capcom, CCP Games, City Interactive, Cleaversoft, Curve Digital, Cyan Inc., David O'Reilly, Defiant Development, Desert Owl Games, Devolver Digital, Double Fine, Electronic Arts, Exploding Tuba, LLC, FDG Entertainment, Finji, Guerrilla Games, Gung Ho, Happy Badger Studio, High Horse Entertainment, Hollow Ponds, Impulse Gear, Joy City, Co-op, Krillbyte, Limited Run Games, Matt Makes Games, which is a great name, Messoff, Metalhead Software, Midboss, Milk Bag Games.
Oh, Milk Bag Games. It's like a boob.
Magraphy, Naughty Dog, Next Gen Pants Inc., Paranoid Productions, Playism, Pocket Watch Games, Polyphony Digital, Retro Dreamer, Reverb Triple XP, Robot Entertainment, Shell Games, SIE Japan Studios, SIE San Diego Studios, Serlin Games, Ska Studios, SNK Corporation, Spaces of Play, Sumo Digital, Supergiant Games, Team 17 Digital Limited, Thunder Lotus Games, Tribute Games Inc., Ubisoft, V-Blank Entertainment Inc., Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, We the Force, Wonderstruck Games, Isbird Games, Yummy Yummy Tummy Inc., and finally, my boys working on Cosmic Star Heroine. Where the fuck is it?
Whoa, yeah, I remember that game.
Z-Boyd Games,
Okay.
LLC.
It's a lot
So
of
that's
peeps.
it seems like a pretty robust list of publishers and developers that will be there if you are going to be there as well.
Very exciting.
And finally, number 7 is a wrap-up. Action RPG Dark Rose Valkyrie is coming to PlayStation 4 in the spring of 2017. Visual novel Hakioki Kyoto Winds is coming to Vita in the spring of 2017. Dungeon crawling RPG Mary Skelter Nightmares is coming to Vita in the summer of 2017. Red Faction has been rated by the ESRB, suggesting that it could be forthcoming PlayStation Classic. I think both Red Faction and Red Faction 2 were already rated by PEGI as well.
Peggy 16.
Adventure game Mosaic is coming to PS4 in late 2017. And finally, fighting game Fantasy Strike is coming to PlayStation 4 at an undetermined point in the future. And that is it for the news this week.
Colin,
Yes.
Mosaic certainly sounds like an adventure game. But if I wanted to know more about that game, I have to wait a long time. If I want to know about what games came to the mom and grop digital shops and sometimes retail stores, where would I go?
You go to the official list of upcoming PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, PlayStation VR, and sometimes PSP software by the Kind of Funny co-founders.
Right, Clemens?
Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection, comes to PlayStation 4 digital and retail. It says, make history as the legendary master assassin Ezio Auditore di Firenze. I think that's how you say it. Firenze. In Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection. Play as Ezio, the most iconic assassin in the franchise, and follow his journey from a young man learning the ways of the assassins in 15th century Renaissance Italy, then into Rome, where he takes leadership of the entire Brotherhood of Assassins.
Good games.
I think I'm going to pass. Freeze Me comes to PS4 digital. Freeze Me is a 3D platformer in true 90s style, but there's a twist. The main character, R, has one special tool, a camera around her neck. This camera allows her to literally freeze the objects she photographs.
Wow.
Hasbro Family Fun Pack Conquest Edition comes to PlayStation 4 digital. Enjoy your favorite Hasbro games in this brand new all-in-one compilation. Monopoly Plus, Risk, Urban Assault, Battleship, and Scrabble, all on PS4. The games you know and love are more fun and interactive than ever on console. It'll Do 2 comes to PS4 digital. Idle and Tipsy crash onto yet another island filled with loot, puzzles, and mysterious inhabitants. With the help of a magical map, they set out to steal 8 pieces of a raft from increasingly improbable locations, including beaches, prairies, an art exhibit, and some dude's basement.
Oh, some dude's basement. Okay.
Killing Floor 2 comes to PS4 digital. This is out on the 18th, so this is a Friday release. It says in Killing Floor 2, players descend into continental Europe, where the outbreak caused by Horzine Biotechs. I'm going to start again. In Killing Floor 2, players descend into continental Europe, where the outbreak caused by Horzine Biotech's failed experiment has quickly spread and gained unstoppable momentum, essentially paralyzing the European Union. Players will descend into Z-laden hot zones and exterminate them.
Like zombies.
It's not very well written.
It's this is one we did a lot or talked a lot about at GameStop Expo when Tim and I were working there as part of the Square Enix thing, and it looked interesting. It kind of looked like Left 4 Dead, and I know it's super popular on Steam. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays on console and if it is that, and if that's gonna take off. Because I
neat.
Hope so.
Mechazoo comes to PlayStation 4 digital. Mechazoo is a 2D platformer with vibrant, fully 3D worlds that can be explored and conquered with a kinetically diverse cast of animals in a single-player campaign or co-op multiplayer. Inspired by classic platformers, Mechazoo leverages those core elements to create a new, creative, unique, and fun gameplay experience. Overcooked Gourmet Edition comes to PlayStation 4 digital and retail. The Overcooked Gourmet Edition stirs together the smash hit co-op cooking game and the Lost Morsel content pack into one delicious package that will test your culinary skills to the limit. Overcooked is a chaotic couch co-op cooking game for 1 to 4 players. Working as a team, you and your fellow chefs must prepare, cook, and serve up a variety of tasty orders before the baying customers storm out in a huff.
Awesome game. Congratulations that it's coming to retail. If you haven't bought it yet, buy it. Don't expect much out of that DLC though.
No, the
were let
DLC
down
was
with
a
the
little underwhelming.
No trophies. What the fuck?
Silence comes to PlayStation 4 Digital. During an air raid, 16-year-old Noah and his little sister Rini, R-E-N-I-E, seek shelter in a bunker. There, they are not only protected from a deadly bombardment, but also stumble upon the crossroads between life and death. When Noah loses his sister to Silence, he's forced to venture into an idyllic yet threatening world to find her. Silence, however, bears its own scars of war and suffering. Space Rift Episode 1 comes to PlayStation VR Digital. After a devastating meteor shower, Earth has turned into a desert wasteland. Humanity has been forced to relocate to Mars, where they live under the strict leadership of Megacorps Wace and Pandora. You take on the role of Casey Black, who has been slaving away as a pilot for weeks. After being labeled a traitor by a computer error, your only chance to survive is joining the rebels of the Anoxia Station.
Okay.
Star Wars Battlefront Ultimate Edition comes out on PS4 retail. It's out on the 18th, which is a Friday. The Star Wars Battlefront Ultimate Edition has everything fans need to live out their Star Wars battle fantasies, including the Star Wars Battlefront Deluxe Edition and Star Wars Battlefront Season Pass. Rebels and Imperials alike will be able to expand the galaxy with 4 expansion packs, 30-plus maps, 14 heroes, and 14 game modes. Stern Pinball Arcade comes to PlayStation 4 Digital. Stern Pinball Arcade is the most realistic and accurate pinball game ever created. Stern Pinball Inc. has created many of the all-time greatest pinball tables. They are the most experienced and the largest producer of real pinball machines in business today.
How'd you like that write-up? Interestingly, we got off of the game pretty quick just to talk about the pinball people.
Time Machine VR comes to PlayStation VR Digital. As a time-traveling cadet, explore the Jurassic era and the ancient creatures that once ruled the prehistoric oceans. Use advanced tech tools to track, examine, and discover scientifically accurate creatures like mosasaurs, leviathans, and megalodons. Uncover the mysteries of the ancient past. Find the connection between a prehistoric virus, the melting ice caps, and a present-day epidemic that is exterminating humankind.
That sounds rad, and I really hope it is. I doubt it will be, but I really hope it is. Time Traveler VR, is that what it's called?
Time Machine VR.
Time Machine VR.
Wanted Corp comes to PS Vita Digital out the 17th, so that's a Thursday. Wanted Corp is a top-down action game in which you play as 2 intergalactic bounty hunters with different powers. Use Mad Dog's devastating weaponry Arena's psychic powers to catch your prey or eliminate them once and for all. The hunt is on.
Over at kindafunny.com/PSQ. A listener named My Dog Nick 96 writes in and says, I just read the description of Wanted Core for the Vita and noticed it has a character named Mad Dog. Fun fact, my username on a lot of sites is Mad Dog Nick 96. I just thought that was neat and wanted to share. I don't care how you say my name. My dog has kind of grown on me, to be honest.
Watch Dogs 2 comes to PlayStation 4, digital and retail. Play as Marcus Holloway, a brilliant young hacker living in the birthplace of the tech revolution, the San Francisco Bay Area. Team up with DeadSec, a notorious group of hackers, and expose the hidden dangers of CTOS 2.0, which is being wrongfully used to monitor and manipulate citizens on a massive scale.
I like it a lot.
And finally, Yesterday Origins comes to PlayStation 4 digital out the 17th of Thursday. It's 1481. Young John is publicly humiliated and dragged through the street. Under suspicion of witchcraft, he is imprisoned by the Spanish Inquisition to be tortured. Later, he undergoes an alchemical transformation, making him immortal. But not everything goes to plan. As a result, after each resurrection, John completely forgets who he is. Experience an epic adventure through time and across the world. And that's it.
Play Watch Dogs. Topic of the show. Tots, Colin Moriarty. This one comes from kindafunny.com/PSQ from a man named Carlos. Carlos writes in and says, hello, Greg and Colin.
Hello.
He then says, and I say hello, of course, and he says fangasm after both of you say hello back. Huge fan since SGC. I'm guessing you can't pronounce my username, so just call me Carlos. You got it, Carlos. If Sony were to ever release a PS1 Classic Edition /Mini like the NES one, which 30 games would you want there? No outdated sports games or games with too much licensed content. Disregard memory and cost, but not the chance of third-party licensing the game. Now, here's what we're going to do, Call. Rather than sit here and try to figure out 30 on our own, blank sheet of paper, go through, that would take hours. We'd kill each other arguing about things. He put in his 30. We're going to go through. You tell me if they belong there or not and why or why not, all right? In no order, I assume. Number 1. Oh, he put them in alphabetical order. What a nice young man this Carlos is. Number 1, Ape Escape.
Yeah.
You have to, right?
Yeah.
There's a legacy there. It means something to PlayStation. And it is, I think, one of those that's... It's hard. It's weird to say that, but I think people don't understand how important Ape Escape was. You know what I mean? Like, that's a game now. You see the damn monkeys everywhere. And I guess they'd be apes more than likely, right? But
Monkey Escape.
Monkey Escape doesn't have the Monkey Ball was already there. You know what I mean? So I guess the apes would have to. Anyways, you see them, but I mean, how many people actually played Ape Escape?
Ape Escape was before Monkey Ball, wasn't it? Maybe not.
Who the hell knows?
No, well, it doesn't matter. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. It was no gorilla. I'll tell you that. Number 2, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh, definitely.
Of course. How could we not do this? This one. Would you? I mean, this is you always talk about. This is like better than Super Metroid. This is really becoming what Metroidvania is and what it is now.
It's one of the great games of all time. I mean,
Right.
that would be a huge mistake not putting that in there. Yeah.
Number 3, Chrono Cross. How you feel about this? Because you worried.
I don't know.
I mean, Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Cross is fine, but I want to see what else because I mean there should be a lot of RPGs in here. I'm not sure Chrono Cross should be one of them though.
I'm gonna put a line out here so we can come back. You can tell me what happened there. All right. Number 4 on Carlos's list, Crash Bandicoot Warped.
That's the third one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like they probably should all be on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if we're talking about the games that I don't think Crash Bandicoot's good at all, but if we're talking about the games that are important to the console, then
and that's my thing. I would say put one on there. I think just put Crash Bandicoot on there because that's the one.
I think it's people's least favorite one though.
Sure, but it's the one people remember and freak out for. And if you're gonna have, I'm sorry, Kevin. Put Warped on there. Is Warped the third one? Were we right about that? And then get your microphone, lean in, get your feet off the table. If you're gonna step up for Warped, which I'm glad you are, why should it be Warped why should it be there? Because do any of them hold up and seem excellent? I think aren't we then into the Mario conundrum of just we should just put 1, 2, 3 on there, put them all on there.
Well, I feel like Mario is really different. 1, 2, and 3, like they're vastly different games. While the first Crash game is tremendously hard.
Right.
Like obscenely
it's not
hard.
that great. I don't know why people.
Right.
love it.
Well, no. Hold on a second. I didn't say that.
Okay.
And then 2 improves on it like vastly.
Sure.
And then 3 just fucking nails it. Now,
Okay.
Tim, I don't know which way he stands on this, but 3 is the best. Warped? Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't like putting a third one on there though without 1 or 2.
I think they should all go on.
Okay. Colin's making that executive decision. Next, Crash Team Racing at 5.
No.
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 You don't like Crash Team Racing?
No. I think
It's a good kart racer.
It's fine. I don't think kart racers have anything to do with PS1's legacy at all.
Sure.
So there's way too many games on PS1 to put Crash Team Racing on there. Yeah.
We'll put in a line through Crash Team Racing then. I do think it's a fun game. And if I was putting a little fun machine, like the PlayStation 1 Classic, I don't know, I might put it on there. Number 6, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yes, absolutely.
Number 7, Final Fantasy 7.
Yes.
Though I like 9 more, he says.
I think 7, 8, and 9 will have to go in there. I mean, this is when you and I don't even like the 8 that much, but these are seminal games. I mean, if we're talking about the seminal PlayStation 1 games,
Yeah.
then all 3 of them and Tactics have to be on there, just like I think all 3 Crash games have to be on there.
Interesting. Number 8, Gex. Enter the Gecko.
No.
Not a fan of that Gex?
No.
Okay.
No way.
Number 9, Gran Turismo 2.
Yes. I would say 2 would probably be the right choice, right? Because 3 was PS2, right? No, 3 was PS1. 3 was PS2. A-Spec or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
So 2 would probably be the right one, yeah.
Number 10, Colono Door to Phantom Isle. Or no, Phantom Isle.
What?
I've never heard of this
Let me
game.
see this.
I don't know this game. Number right there, 10.
Oh, Klonoa. Yeah.
I'm
I don't
not
know that I
familiar
would.
with this
I don't
game.
know that I would necessarily put it on there, but no.
What is this game? I don't know.
Klonoa is
this
like
game.
a cat like cartoon character. You would know it.
If I saw it, I would remember. Okay. Number 11, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver.
Yeah.
Number 12, Legend of Dragoon.
No. No, definitely not. I don't know why everyone loves that game so much.
Number 13, Medieval. Come on, you got to put Medieval
Yeah, I mean,
on
just
there.
for the first party stuff. Yeah, I guess. So.
Exactly. Again, legacy and what it means, right? Number 14, Mega Man X4.
No. Sorry.
Number 15, the best game on the console, Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
Of course, come on now. Number 16, Odd World, Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's another important one, right?
Yeah.
In terms of what it meant and did everything. Number 17, Parappa the Rapper.
Yes.
Number 18, Rayman 2.
I don't know. I didn't play Rayman games when I was a kid.
Yeah, me neither. Number 19, Resident Evil 2.
Yes. And again, I would put 1, 2, and 3 on them.
Yeah, I think you got to do that as well. Ridge Racer Type 4.
I don't care.
20.
Yeah.
21, Silent Hill.
Yeah, I would put Silent Hill 2 on there as well.
Okay.
But yeah.
22, Spyro 2, Rip 2's Revenge.
No Spyro games. Actually, the important thing is that I guess you have to, because we are talking about
Legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you got to put Spyro games on there.
I mean, because you got to think about it from what they're doing. You see the box, and you're gonna go, "Oh my God, what are all the PlayStation
Balloon
1
Fight.
games?" Balloon Fight.
God, I haven't played that game in years. I was like, oh my. I was playing it this weekend. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Number 23, Street Fighter Alpha 3.
It's a great game. Yeah, I guess we need a fighting game on there. That probably is one of the seminal fighting games on the console.
Number 24, Siphon Filter.
Yes.
You have to.
It's
Gabe
garbage,
Logan
but
meant so
yeah.
much. Exactly. He runs like he's got a load in his pants, the stun gun, all that crap. But you had to put it on there. It's not good, Kevin. It was good back in the day. Okay. Number 25, Tekken 3.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 26, I think is an obvious one, Tomb Raider.
Yeah, you could even make the case for all 3 Tomb Raider games. I think.
Yeah.
I think they get better.
Number 27, he says Tomba.
Tomba.
Yeah.
People love that game.
He said, now this is something I'm unfamiliar. He says Tombi with an I at the end, and then he says or Tomba, whichever you prefer.
But I don't know.
Did
what
it have a
Tombi
different
is.
name?
Maybe. I don't know
somewhere
what that,
else?
I have no idea what that is.
You weren't a big Tomba fan enough to have the history and the back knowledge of him?
No.
You don't know Tomba's whole story? No?
Nope.
Number 28, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
I would put. Now, he's talking about games with licensed content.
Yeah, he's saying that's okay.
I thought he said games that
No outdated sports games or games with too much licensed content.
I mean, that's all licensed content. It's people, boards, skate deck companies,
Yeah, but it's Tony
component
Hawk. You
companies,
gotta put
and
it in
music.
Yeah.
So remove all of that, and it's still a good game, but it's not nearly as interesting.
Sure.
That said, I would put both 1 and 2 on there.
Okay. Number 29.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater gets shit on by some people, but that game is revolutionary. And I think that game is really that game is fucking awesome because people love THPS 2
I see
so
what you're
much.
talking about. I see what you're saying. The
that
original. I thought you meant like the
is
franchise.
fucking amazing. Oh no.
It didn't get good till Thug. Number 29, Twisted Metal 2.
Yeah, I don't like the Twisted Metal games, but yeah, that people.
But again, yeah, I think what people are gonna remember from college, sitting there playing, drinking their beers, being sweet tooth. And then number 30, Wild Arms.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I would put it on there. I don't know that it wouldn't necessarily need to be on there over some other games, but that's a decent list.
What are we missing?
I don't know. I mean, I think we're missing quite a few role-playing games. Although, I mean, I would put Parasite Eve on there. I would put Tactics Ogre on there. There's a lot of games on there that are missing. It's just a matter. PS1 had a lot of games. It's a matter of like what you prioritize. That was a very confusing time because there were 3D platformers, side scrollers. I mean, Colony Wars can be on there, for instance. And if you want a space shooter of some sort, role-playing games were a huge part of the identity of the console. That's why I think putting Legend of Dragoon on there over a lot of other role-playing games is very strange. But I think the list as it is pretty indicative of what's important. There's a few things missing, but I think mostly 80% pretty strong list, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good job, Carlos. And everybody out there, go to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Look at this episode if in case you're driving your car right now, listening to us. And leave in the comments your 30 games you'd run there, or just name omissions from Carlos's list. He did fine, though. Colin, it's trophy time.
Let me open up the
What have you
laptop.
brought to the plate this time, sir?
I think there's only one game I really want to go over, and I think it's because
one game.
nothing's popping up that's too interesting lately.
One life.
But there is, let's see. Well, we can look at Time Machine VR.
Yeah, we can.
We can also look at, where's the one? Oh, I want to look at Watch Dogs.
Hell yeah. This is one of those annoying things where I was playing it and it wasn't live, and I hate that. And I'm getting them across 3 different consoles, and I gotta go sync them all individually.
Yeah, it's a pain. Time Machine VR has 18 bronze, 14 silver, 4 gold, and a platinum. So you get trophies for completing levels and the story mode. It seems like the story mode might be 4 or 5 levels long. There's trophies for one-off things. So it says like investigate the Titanites further, investigate the Ophthalmosaurus further, help the baby Pilosaurus find its mother. That's a silver trophy.
True story though. If you go back in time and you are in dinosaur times, don't touch baby dinosaurs because the moms won't like that probably.
There's
And
a
I'm just
thing-
basing that on what bears think.
There are collectibles called monoliths, and you have a thing called the Dino Dex where you can put entries in. There's a bunch of trophies associated with that. There's also
Dino
there's also
DNA.
a true ending that you got to go
Oh,
through.
a true ending. Wow.
Now, Watch Dogs 2, more importantly, I would say, 34 bronze, 14 silver, 1 gold, 1 platinum. It seems like a lot of story-based things, so let's scroll. I want to go to the bottom.
Yeah, I want to say, and I don't know if it's clear on there, but I want to say I got a silver for completing a mission. So I'm thinking every dead
Operations. It says finish operation, colon.
Yeah. So
There's a
every one
bunch of
those
silvers
main-
for that.
Yeah, exactly.
You Be Stolen is the only one that you get a bronze for it. trigger the hack of the century is a gold trophy. I assume that's the ending.
Yeah.
But then there's a bunch of little ones like bronzes. So like get all the e-card upgrades, buy all the apps in the app shop, do a drone race, do a bike race, finish Operation Shadow, successfully invade another hacker, use the call the cops hack on the donut disguised man and hate Ashbury.
Yeah, I saw that. Brian put up a video on PS4 trophies for that.
Complete 5 DedSec events, hack a robot, make 3 jumps in a row aboard a vehicle, do a 140 meter long jump while driving.
What can you tell me about multiplayer trophies?
Seems pretty manageable. It doesn't seem like there are any.
I'm pretty sure there's at least one for co-op.
Let me see. Erase your identity in the past. Boom. Buy some pants. Buy a 2-handed weapon. Buy a shirt. Get photobombed. Sidetrack a ball.
Hi, it's me, Greg. You're watching and or listening to PS I Love You XOXO right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or a podcast service around the
Hold
globe.
my hand. Successfully complete an online co-op operation.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be pretty easy, pretty doable.
So that's it for the trophies.
Well then, how about a question?
Sure.
This one comes from a young little boy named Zyger. Zyger1337 writes in and says, Dear Colin and Greg, I'll keep it short. This question is about platinum trophies. Last week, a game released on the PSN store called My Name is Mayo. As of writing, the game is on sale for 99 cents. It's cross-buy on both PS4 and PlayStation Vita, and it has 2 separate trophy lists. The gameplay is tapping a jar of mayo. That is it! You tap the mayo jar as it dresses up in various outfits. You can unlock the platinum in under 20 minutes. How can a game like this, literally a game where all you do is tap a mayo jar for 20 minutes, get a platinum trophy? But games such as Gone Home and so many other actually fun games cannot. Where is the justice in the PlayStation trophy system? How can a game where you literally just touch a jar of mayo even be allowed on the PlayStation ecosystem? Hashtag Colin was right. There is no quality check on the PlayStation Store if games like this can get on with a platinum.
So I didn't play this Mayo game.
I did. Twice.
So you can speak to it.
Sure. No, he just nailed it.
I refuse to play it.
He just nailed exactly what it is.
I absolutely refuse to play it. I think it's complete fucking trash. That something like this exists, that the people are selling this game, and it's your prerogative to get it, and that clearly the only reason you would buy it is for the trophy.
Correct.
I do think that this speaks to a dumbing down of the trophy ecosystem, and I think it's kind of sad that, like, we talk about how more games should have platinums, that there shouldn't necessarily be some sort of consistency in the difficulty of trophies. I have no problem with that, but this is so out of whack.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I don't want these fucking platinum trophies. I don't want these at all. Like, I could spend an hour and a half and get 2 platinum trophies. That's stupid. You know, like, don't support this bullshit. These dumb games that they put out just to prey on people that clearly like trophies. Because I watch a video, I watched you play it. I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
This is dumb as shit. You know? Of course, the temptation laid in me deep down when I heard about it at first. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll pick it up. And then I'm like, well, why? Like, why? First of all, I get platinums legitimately, you know, and I get them from games that I want to play. So I was a little disheartened to see the price point compared to the platinum trophy existence, compared to how easy it is to get it, compared to the cross-buy nature of it. I'm like, this is bullshit.
I mean, it's bullshit, but it's genius. It's what we've said before time and time again, right? Of like, if you put trophies matter, and if you put out a game, like if you put out something with the platinum, you make, and that's your whole goal, and that's the whole thing, it's going to happen. It's going to sell. And it's funny to sit here and do this and talk about it when, you know, like I remember when Linger in Shadows and all the PS3 games that were easy to get all the trophies in, or just easy grabs, right? At least even that at least is like a game. That was something. You were doing more than this, which is so phoned in and so clearly that somebody understood what they were doing and they could jump on it and go. Now, to Zyger's point of why does this have a platinum and other games don't, I think it's because other games don't push. Like, this is what I was talking about a couple weeks ago, right? And the fact that I've heard that really, if you just keep, no, we want a platinum. Put a platinum in the game. They're going to put a platinum in the game eventually. You just have to ask for it. But like I always go back to with Kojima, and when he put out, not Phantom Pain, when he put out the first part, Ground Zeroes. And it did have a platinum. And when they were asked about it, he was like, oh, just, you know, Sony said online games or, you know, downloadable games don't get it or whatever. Or that the experience was too small. And it was like, well, yeah, but there's literally, you just don't know. You're just not focused. You don't understand how much trophies mean to us, where this is the opposite, where the My Name is Mayo people totally understood what they're doing and did it unabashedly. I don't, you know what I mean? I haven't seen any statements from anybody being like, no, it's a real game. We're really doing something here. They knew what they were doing. They clearly know what they were doing.
I think it's somewhat predatory, although I mean, it's a low price point. I mean, you're not going to lose your shirt over it, I don't suspect, unless your shirt costs 99 cents, and you were using your shirt specifically to buy the game.
Yeah, if it came down to can I buy the mayo or my shirt, I guess that's how you would lose your shirt.
But I just don't like seeing shit like that because I do think that this goes back to we've talked to people in the past that understanding, off the record or just in passing, not even talking specifically for information, just about how the PSN is just overrun and it's becoming bad. And this is an example of that where they should have seen this game and been like, no, this game serves no value to anyone. No. Well, we need Vita games, we want PS4 games, but no, this is fucking nonsense. Your shitty little 99-cent game with your platinum trophy, get the fuck out of here. We don't need that. What are they going to make 30 cents a rip on that game? Like, they really need that? They'll sell 10,000 copies of the game and make $3,000 off of it. Like, really not worth it. Send it away with fucking 80% of the other games on PSN that don't need to be there. I was a little annoyed when I saw that.
Now it's going to be interesting to see if you see more people following suit, if the jig will be up. But I don't feel like most developers are getting into the game to, hey, let's try to make a quick buck. I think they're out there trying to make a vision, try to do something. But this could always be a way to get some money in your pocket to get onto your next project.
I mean, did this game to you have any merit?
Oh, God, no.
Like none, right?
No, I'm not. No. It's totally goofy and dumb and there's nothing to it. Yeah.
So, I don't know what else to say about it. I think it's a sad kind of situation just simply because, we might overstate the importance of trophies. I know some people don't like them or a lot of people don't care about them, but we do care about them. And this speaks not to the trophy thing, but the predatory nature of how people are getting money out of your pocket. A jar of mayonnaise that you tap on to get the trophies. That's the game. You tap on a jar of mayonnaise. The fuck is that? You kidding me? Get the trash out of here.
I don't agree with you that it's predatory. I think this is being straight up and honest. If anything, it's what you always talk about. Like, I don't think anybody's buying this game expecting more than what it is, that they're getting this platinum trophy for it. And I think that's why they built it and how they've marketed it. I'm putting in quotes because there's been no marketing behind it. I haven't seen commercials or somebody talking about it. It's clearly here to fill a need or a desire of a player out there I don't think anybody's being preyed on in terms of they don't know what they're getting into. I understand your not emotions, your temptation, whatever. You're being tempted by this game, that maybe that's how they're preying on you. They know that you have this weakness or this love of trophies, but that is every product everywhere, right? Like, if somebody's making a product and people are buying it, they want it. And it's not a No Man's Sky thing where they're buying this thing expecting it to be this great game about mayo, and then in terms it is, I put it into a fucking banana suit and now I tap it.
I've always wanted a great game about mayo, so this isn't it.
This is why God, how did I miss it? This is why you're offended. You love mayo so much, and this game doesn't. This could be any jar. This could be a jar of mustard.
Well, because when I first saw,
holy shit! What if they keep going and they make, my name is mustard, and my name is ketchup, and
I'm sure they will. So you can just give you a bunch of trash fucking platinum trophies to pad your shit with. Meanwhile, some of us out there are getting real platinum trophies. Now, the thing, it goes way beyond that, just in the sense that I just feel like there needs to be someone, a gatekeeper at Sony that's like, no. Why is that so hard for them to be like, what is this? What is this game? Why? Why does this game exist? This isn't even a game. Wow. Ding.
Oh, they go way quicker.
Ding. It's like, really? That's great. That's really important. That really makes the ecosystem look great. This is what I'm talking about. Someone needs to go through the PSN with a fucking knife, with a machete, and just cut so much of that shit out. And the system and the God, man, you can go through and cut 50% of those games out. I don't think
nobody would ever.
Fuck.
Tomorrow, 50% of the games could disappear. Nobody would know.
It's infuriating, actually, because this is what makes us better than those other ecosystems from a quality standpoint. That's totally going away. That's the kind of shit you see on fucking Steam. That's the kind of shit you see on, especially on iOS and Android.
Yeah.
Bad news.
Colin, let's check in with the readers and reader mail.
Hello, readers.
I have two for you, Colin, that are following up on my comment from last week. Last week, I asked you, the audience, hey, what's PlayStation VR been like for you? Are you still using it? How's it going? We don't hear people talking about it right now. Everybody's positive about it. They seemed happy, and then it kind of got quiet. A bunch of you wrote in. I have two pulled here. First, it's going to be Yo Boy Johnny C, who wrote into kindafunny.com/PSQ, just like you can, to get a question on the air. And he says, hi, Colin and Greg. Long time, first time, smiley emoticon. Just wanted to bounce off Greg's question last week. Are we still enjoying our PlayStation VR, even though hardly anyone is mentioning it anymore? So for context, I own both an Xbox One and a PS4, and have the Xbox One with me during the week where I live, while the PS4 stays at my parents' house where I spend the weekend. I pre-ordered PlayStation VR as soon as I could, got it day one, and was blown away and loved it ever since ever since I've loved seeing my family and friends' reactions as they try it on. I'm still having a lot of fun with it, but I feel like it stems from the fact that I only got to play it for 2 days on the weekend, so I'm keeping it in limited times. Since the main issue, IMO, is that there just aren't that many compelling games to play right now. I bought Arkham VR on day one and effing loved it. Played through a couple times for the Riddler trophies. Got PlayStation VR Worlds as well, in which I'm a huge fan of the shooting ranges in London Heist. And more recently bought Windlands, first-person Tarzan game, basically where you hook onto trees, etc. Apparently makes people sick, but I find it I really like it. But to be honest, that's pretty much it. Nothing else I got to try on the PlayStation VR demo disc really convinced me, mostly because I honestly think the games available are too expensive. Don't get me wrong, I agree with Colin on exploring the spectrum, etc., but most of these games are simple and repetitive experiences, and selling them for $30, Job Simulator, etc., or $60, Eve Valkyrie, Battlezone, really feels too steep for me. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I still love my PlayStation VR, but the fact that I can only use it 2 days a week definitely plays a part in that, since I can't see it on my shelf gathering dust every day. Then, Stephen J. Oslin wrote in, says, "Hi, Colin and Greg. This is in response to episode 60's question you had regarding VR use. I got a day one and would like to share my thoughts. I'll keep it concise." He then has 7 bullet points, Colin. Number 1, it's absolutely incredible. The launch games and experiences have been excellent across the board. I love the technology and the future looks bright. Number 2, everyone I've shown it to is blown away. Old, young, male, female, gamers and non-gamers alike all love it and want one of their own. It's been great to have people over. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes is a favorite among my friends. Number 3, I've been fortunate enough to have been gifted a lot of great PlayStation VR games, but I haven't been playing as much as I thought I would because of several reasons. Number 4, it scratches a different itch. I either want a traditional game or a VR game. I think of them as very different entities and not just a video game. Number 5, timing has been tough. Battlefield unexpectedly has consumed much of my little free time that I have for myself. That free time has also been scarce between work, relationships, and other activities. Number 6, you really have to be in the right mood. I found that sometimes I do have the free time, but I had a long day at work and my focus isn't there and my body isn't cooperating. I have a headache, dinner didn't sit well, etc. And number 7, I sometimes only have 20 to 30 minutes to play. The setup and getting comfortable are too much of an ask to only play for that short amount of time. Overall, despite not being able to play it as much as I would like, my experiences are extremely positive. Tech and games are great. Friends love it. I will continue to buy games and support it. I'm just not using it every day, and that's okay. Hope these thoughts were helpful. Thank you. See you at PSX, Stephen Oslin. They were helpful. He knocks into a bunch of things that have been my hang up with VR since I have it. Still love it, still believe in it, still like it a lot, but there are those times that I come home and I want to play something and I don't want to get into the world, fuck with the thing, drag out the cords, move a coffee table, or even just have not like I'm fucking running up a mountain or something, but like the physical exertion of looking around and trying to do it.
Yeah, we don't want you to exert yourself.
I don't want to exert myself here.
There are 2 things. The first thing is that the first reader or the first writer stumbled upon something I think is important, which is price point for games. People have to understand that VR games are going to be, by and large, expensive because they're going to sell way fewer of these. And in a lot of ways, they're going to have to offset that based on a higher cost. So I think Job Simulator would very comfortably be a $10, $15, $20 game, except for the fact that it's only for PSVR. So they're going to have to make that money back somehow. And so I think we have to, unfortunately, and I did talk about this, I think, before PSVR even came out, that we're going to have to get comfortable with the fact that we're going to have to kind of put our money where our mouth is with this thing for a while.
Yeah.
Until it becomes viable, because the spread between what my assumption is that they're spending quite a bit of money on this technology, getting these games up and running, and then they're not making as much in the back end. And so if there's no profit to be had there, then there are going to be fewer games or no games eventually. Now, I'm not saying that that's your fault or that's your problem, but it will become your problem if you don't put your money where your mouth is about games that you actually believe in. Excuse me, or that you really like. And I think the other thing that's really important, and we had Shuhei over for dinner last night. Mm-hmm. He's in San Francisco. We had him over for dinner. We were talking to him. And one of the things I was saying to him was that I love that PSVR is another pillar for me to play games, but it's not the most important thing. And one of the unintended consequences of the unit I found was that it adds another thing for me to worry about. So,
what do you mean?
I have my core PS4 games I have to play, right? And then I have my Vita games. So those are the only 2 things that I had to worry about. Gotcha. Now there's this third leg of the stool where it's now I have to worry about PSVR. And when I'm looking, so I look at these backlogs and I'm like, all right, I really would like to get through more World of Final Fantasy. I'd like to fuck around more with Dragon Quest builders. I never finished Hitman Go. There's a few other things on Vita I want to do. Then I look at PS4 and I'm like, yeah, Dishonored looks pretty good. Maybe I'll play Watch Dogs, and Skyrim's kind of sitting there. Final Fantasy 15's coming out, et cetera, and so on. And then usually that would be the end. And now it's like, oh, plus Now we have Battlezone and Valkyrie and fucking Robinson and all these things, and they just keep coming out. And I'm like, Jesus. The unintended consequence, the blowback of PSVR in a way, was that it's making my already unwieldy backlog even more unwieldy and unmanageably so.
Yeah.
So that is an unfortunate thing, because now you really, if you have all three options, then and even two of them, which most people would have just the PS4 and PSVR option, not necessarily the Vita option.
You sons of
I feel
bitches.
like it makes things more complicated. And then you really have to be selective about what you're doing. So that's why I know that I'm probably honestly not going to fuck with PSVR probably at all until we're off. Because I know that that's, like he was saying, like the second person was saying, you got to get into that mode. You got to hook it up. You got to make sure it works. It is a pain in the ass. I mean, when I had Erin and her cousin over, and her cousin wanted to play it, and we got it all set up, it took a while. Like, it's just like, they don't understand how to wear it.
Yep. That was the thing. I just did the Let's Plays here at Kind of Funny with my mom. They're not up yet. They'll be up by the end of the week, hopefully. Of her doing VR for the first time. And yeah, that was the huge thing of like, first off, it's hardware that I've used, obviously, and we did a whole bunch of coverage for it, but I don't know it like I know the Vita or the PlayStation 4 or the PS3, right? Where it was like, all right, put this on, and I think this is how it's going to go, and then I'm watching here, and like, I'm like, is this what you're seeing? Like, because like she's over here, but she's reaching for something, but I can't see what it's all that, and then it was like the table was in the way, we moved the table, but then you got to readjust the camera, and the camera, it's just like, for somebody, I just, it's not put it on and go. There's always these little hurdles that aren't bad. I mean, this is a different experience, making use of the camera in virtual space and 360 degrees. I get all that. But it is that thing of like, tonight I want to go home and I'm tired, right? I want to go home and I want to sit down and I want to talk to Jen for a little bit and play Watch Dogs. I just want to sit there and play. I don't want to move the coffee table, do this, worry about kicking Porty, doing, you know what I mean? I just want to.
Porty's already got a torn ACL from you kicking him.
Portillo, no, not from the kick.
Why'd you kick him?
I kicked him yesterday, maybe this morning actually, and he was then scared of me and ran away from me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't come near me anymore.
Yeah.
I did way worse than
You just keep kicking.
Punch him right in his fucking face.
Whoa!
Now,
That explains why Lola looks like that.
yeah, that's not nice. No, that's not a nice thing. That's not a nice thing.
You're just making fun of Porty.
Yeah, but Portillo's almost dead. See, Lola's got life left. We can't make fun of her till she's 8, 9, 10.
Huh.
She's only 3.
See, would think like she could take it though, because she's the young one. Porty's the one
And she also
blowing
has-
out his knees.
And she also has no idea what's going on. Just none.
Why,
So
they're dogs, Colin.
Well, I'm sure there's pretty self-aware dogs out there that have a good idea.
Even
Donald
these
Trump.
police dogs, I don't think are all there upstairs. They know some cute tricks.
Right.
You can teach a dolphin to walk on the sands. You don't need, you know what I mean? Like anything can happen in the animal kingdom if you give them enough time.
That's true. That's a good point. Because Lola didn't seem distressed by the Donald Trump thing. She really had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
I'm like, Lola, you want to go to Market Street in March? And she was just like, I don't.
Well, throw the ball.
What you're talking about? There's a frisbee here, and there's some food in the bowl and whatnot. I see a bag of treats there. I'm gonna cry because my mom's not around today, and I'm gonna do all these things. And so so what I'm saying is, you shouldn't kick Portillo, blow out his ACL like he's a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I don't even understand how we got on this topic.
Who knows anymore? Don't worry, I'll move you on.
So I think PSVR. The thing that we ultimately have to come to terms with VR, I think, is for the $400 buy-in, which I think is a good price, we got this very workable first run of PSVR that I think is great. Eventually, it has to get easier. I see the fidelity and the power of it from a layman's perspective, because I don't understand these things, is fine with me. Like the screen door effect and stuff. I'm like, it doesn't really, it's not unimmersive to me. I think it's fine. It could be better and it will be better. The thing that really gets me is that I want to put this thing on, I want to plug a dongle in, and that's it. Can we get to that point in 5-10 years?
You want to get rid of all the wires.
Exactly.
There.
It's utterly chaotic. Just completely nuts. Like I remember when we got them, I was like, what? This is insane. Like I know we saw setups and stuff like that, but I'm like, this is kind of fucking crazy. I gotta plug this thing into a USB port. I gotta plug this thing into the PS4 into this thing, and I gotta plug them both into the wall. And I'm like, what? The thing that I fear in R&D over the years was that it was probably even fucking worse.
Oh my God. Yeah, totally.
So I'm like, all right, there's latency issues. You got to have everything connected. You can't do it wirelessly. I get all that kind of stuff. Can we get to a point though that's effectively simpler? Because then I think it'll be easier to use. Because I agree with you. I move my PS4 around so much from our TV in the living room to my TV in the bedroom to Erin's house, constantly moving it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
That it would be so much easier for me to wrap my head around using PSVR if I didn't have to worry about steps B, C, and D, but rather just step A of
And that's
plug
the,
and play.
and that's the big thing I think for us in particular, of us being Cry Me a River kind of shit, is that we move everything around, and like my VR is the one we keep bringing in the office and stuff, so it's never the same setup. Whereas if we were normal people who had a normal basement, man cave, entertainment room, whatever, right, where it was we set it up that first time, this is where I'm always going to sit or stand for it, and then you put it off to the side and you brought it in every time, you would have that the experience you'd able to duplicate over and over and over again, to where you work through the kinks once and you're pretty much done. Whereas for us, we have to move everything around, drag it all.
It speaks to, and I understand. I want to say two things. First of all, PSV. I understand we're not there with VR yet in terms of. I get it. I'm just saying, is that a possibility? I'm sure it is. The second thing is, I would gladly drop $600 on 2 more PS4s if I could make them my primary PS4s as well. But they're essentially useless for me if I have to be logged into them at all times. I understand why they did that with PS4 because people were taking advantage of PS3. It was out of control, but I think that they went too far with nailing these things down, because I would absolutely buy 2 more of them and just be like, fine, I don't ever have to move these fucking things ever again. Instead of unplugging them, half the time I unplug it, I'm unplugging it totally fine. It tells me that it's defragging my drive. This is bullshit. But that's the way it goes nonetheless.
I rarely move the PlayStation anymore, right? Like unless I'm going somewhere and I need a PlayStation where I'm not going. But we have the one at the office, and then I have one in the bedroom, one in the living room. And it's not that big of a hurdle, and it is to an extent. But I think you could get away with only having the one primary one, that being my master unit out there. It's nice that it automatically downloads and automatically does the saves, but
I just can't rely on to the point of the opponents of always online.
Yeah.
You just can't rely on these other consoles that are not your primary consoles. Like if I have saves stranded on them, or something happens to the internet, or the PSN goes down again, I'm fucked. Like I know that I'm going to find myself in this situation one day. I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. So instead of doing that, I just don't put myself in that situation at all.
Sure.
I'd rather just move the PS4 around, which is probably not very good for it, and then eventually just buy a new PS4.
Sure. That makes sense. Let's do one more VR question here, Colin. It comes from I'm going to say REHSA. But because it's all intercapped. Because it's all the R and the H and the A are uppercase. The E and the S are lower. So I don't know what he's trying to say. It's some kind of coded message here.
I don't get it.
Or she, maybe. And it's John, so it's a he. Greetings and salutations, best friends. I just have one simple question. Do you think that Detroit Become Human will support VR like Resident Evil 7 does, VR option from beginning to end, or is it too late to do so? P.S. I really love you, John, a.k.a. capital R, little e, capital H, little s, capital A.
No, I think we already pretty much have at least vague confirmation that that's not the case. But
it just doesn't work for how the demos you've seen work.
It's in third person, first of all.
Exactly. That's the thing. So I don't think they're going to be... Why would they give you then on top of that a mode when so much of it is conveyed that experience? David Cage loves that cinematic. I'm pushing games. I'm doing all these different things. This is going to be an experience that is on par with a film. To then he's set up his shots. Think about the scene we've seen of the androids talking on the roof with the girl, right? And how beautiful that's shot, in quotes. Like the cinematography of that. To rip all that away and put you in control, and the androids giving you a very touching speech, and you're like, okay, where the hell is the other no way. That's not at all the experience they want for this game. Maybe they're going to do something VR related down the line. But
so I think some time ago on the show, I don't know, it was maybe only a couple weeks ago, I talked about how David Cage noted that they were messing around with PSVR, but that they don't want to do it unless, I'm paraphrasing, but it seems like they don't want to do it unless it makes sense. And I don't think Detroit's going to use it because, to your point, I don't think that that's the vision of the, David Cage he has very specific ways in which he goes about making his games. Do I think Quantic Dream could make a great PSVR game from scratch? Yes, but I don't think you should pigeonhole their games now into, and try to fit a square peg into a circular hole. Which, it's PSVR is not a catch-all solution for everything. I think it makes way more sense in first-person games anyway.
I would give a shout out though if they made My Name is Mayo and they made it a VR version all of a sudden, because that would be them.
I wouldn't leave it. I wouldn't put it beyond.
That would be that guy doubling down of being like, all right, cool, and then you come in, you have the move wands, and there's just a jar of mayo there, and you just bring in your hand and go tack tack tack. Cost them way too much money to make, but if you're out there, do it. Final question from kindafunny.com/PSQ comes from Leif Ratty, who says, "Hi, Greg and Colin.
Hello.
I recently played Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I really liked and enjoyed playing it, but I noticed some media journalists, I hate those media journalists, like the game even more than Uncharted 4. That I really don't get. Now, I know the comparison between those two games are inevitable, and I'm not fanboying here, and everyone else is entitled to their own opinion, but I thought I'd share with you guys, since you both played the two, my thoughts about this. I think it's clear that Lara Croft is the more recognized gaming character, and 30 years from now, people will still remember her as a gaming icon more than Nathan Drake. Many of the people who liked Rise of the Tomb Raider more are saying that because there is more gameplay and RPG elements in it, but can this be enough? And also, many of them didn't play the previous Uncharted games and rushed through Uncharted 4 in 1 or 2 sessions. Who are these media journalists you're following, Leif, that didn't play the other Uncharteds, that jumped into Uncharted 4 and ran ahead? That's crazy. To me, this is Wraith again, or Leif. To me, it's clear that Uncharted 4 is the better story, main and supporting character arcs, villains, visuals, enemies, and friends with AI and performance. Although I loved Rise of the Tomb Raider, but I have some issues with it. The plot twist in the middle of the game I saw within minutes the first time I played it, and so on and so forth. Colin, is there an argument that Rise of the Tomb Raider is better than...
I haven't played enough of it to know. They're different games, but I'll say this right off the bat, because some people take offense to this, and this is just a fucking fact. I don't know how you can possibly interpret this any other way. There would be no Tomb Raider reimagined without Uncharted.
And?
Full stop. And there would be no Uncharted
without Tomb Raider.
Without the old Tomb Raider games. So they're iterating off each other, but people have argued like, but the Tomb Raider the new Tomb Raider games do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, give me a fucking break. There's nothing wrong with it, but those games are a fucking copy and then a manipulation of some sort of Uncharted. Now, if you don't want to believe that, then you're frankly tense, you know? But like, that doesn't make it wrong because they took it and then they did something to it. And I think that what they did to it was open it up, make it more about systems, back-end, exploration, experience, doing all those kinds of things, which makes the game dynamic and bigger and better and gives maybe a future Uncharted something to strive for. Because what I talked about with Uncharted 4 before it came out was like, I hope they don't go down the road of upgradable weapons and all these kinds of things. Make your game. But from a platforming perspective, from a puzzle-solving perspective, from a... God almighty, I mean, the first half an hour of the new Tomb Raider game is an Uncharted game. Completely. The thing on the ice, the glacier, going into the caves. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, it's obvious what they were looking at, but there's no shame in it. Because when Project Big, which was what Uncharted was called, when it was being developed, before PS3 even came out, they looked at Tomb Raider, clearly, and saw something there that they can manipulate and take advantage of as well. So I'm not saying that, like, the great artists, you know, tend to copy and steal from each other. You know, this is something that even Steve Jobs talked about. And, well, he was quoting, but it's something that, you know, with Apple, with Mac OS and with Lisa and all these computers, they were stealing things from Xerox. They stole the fucking GUI from Xerox. They stole laser printing from Xerox, but like...
Ties to Silicon Valley. Go watch it, everybody.
But they made it better. They made it commercial. They made it viable.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, what I'm saying is that there's no necessarily shame in looking around and reacting to what you find. That's what great writers do. That's what great musicians do. That's what great painters do. Poets. I mean, you know, no one's a poet without reading other poetry.
Exactly. You get influenced. And
but it infuriates me when people, I don't care if people like one or the other. I think you can make a great point that Tomb Raider is better than Uncharted. I think you could make that point. I think you're wrong, but I think you can make that point.
Sure.
I've not played enough Tomb Raider to really follow it through to the nth degree, but based on the few hours I played at the beginning, I'm like, no, they're just different. And I don't think that they get what makes Uncharted so great, which is Nathan Drake.
Sure.
And the relationships and the story.
And that's the thing about it where, for me, I think it really comes down to, when I'm talking to you, Leif, what it comes down to is, what do you take out of these experiences? This is why gaming is so great, but why it's also very subjective, right? And the fact that there is not a scientific method to critiquing and coming up with what video game is better than what video game. For me, Uncharted 4 is head and shoulders a better game than Rise of the Tomb Raider. And I fucking love Rise of the Tomb Raider. Played it on Xbox One last year. I am playing it in quotes on PlayStation 4 now. In quotes, because when am I going to get back to it? Who the fuck knows? But I love that game. That is a great fucking video game. It has all these systems and mechanics that make me want to go in and explore everything and get everything and learn every language and find every cache of coins and do all this crazy shit in the game, right? But as awesome as that is, that doesn't even compare to the emotional impact and resonance and the way I love the characters of Uncharted and the story of Uncharted and the universe of Uncharted. When I think of the story from Tomb Raider, right, I cannot even tell you what until I started playing Rise of the Tomb Raider again, I wouldn't have been able to tell you what Rise of the Tomb Raider from a year ago's plot was, because I totally didn't care. I cared about the systems and the mechanics running around playing it. I cannot tell you what the original Tomb Raider reboot was, right? Where it was like, I think there was a ghost, they got shipwrecked, I think there was a witch at the end. I remember fighting it, it didn't really make that much sense. But now, all that said, those aren't the reasons I'm playing that game, right? Though I'm playing that game, I am playing the Tomb Raider games because the gameplay is awesome and the experiences are really fun, and I enjoy now upgrading and getting everything. Whereas Uncharted, I would never say there's nothing other than treasures I'm collecting in Uncharted. I'm playing Uncharted because of the story, because of it playing out and being relationships and being beautiful and being a movie that I get to participate in.
Well, let's go a step beyond this though, because I said that you would have to be somewhat dense or dishonest with yourself to not understand that Uncharted begets Tomb Raider, just as Tomb Raider begets Uncharted.
Yeah.
But going a step beyond that, you want and would hope that great creators are looking around, looking at what they can make next. Now, a lot of those ideas come internally. I mean, something like Journey was clearly not inspired by anything, right? It was inspired by something outside of games. I don't know what the fuck inspired, but it was no game that inspired that. So those things happen every once in a while. But my hope is that great creators look at what Naughty Dog does and says, like, how can we do this?
Sure.
Because this is way fucking better than almost anything else. So how do we strive for those? And so Crystal Dynamics should be, and Square Enix should be complimented for being so blatantly Uncharted. Because why wouldn't you? If you have the capability of doing something like that and putting your own spin on it.
You have this IP that works so well with it, and an IP that has not worn out its welcome, but those traditional Lara games before were, all right, they're samesies. You didn't see people freaking out for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I want to temper the expectation too that I don't want people that are not capable of making The Last of Us, for instance, to look at, and I would say most teams, most developers are just simply not capable of making that game. Don't look at that game if you can't do it properly, right? Mm-hmm. But do look at that game if you think you can learn something from it and take something from it and make something new and original. And I think that that's what they did at Crystal Dynamics with Tomb Raider. If you only played one or the other, you wouldn't even really care or know that the other one existed. But when you play them both, you realize how much they live and breathe off of each other, and how I think they will continue to into the future. It looks like Uncharted is going to be abandoned for now, but it looks like Tomb Raider is going to keep going for one or two more games. So I don't think there's any shame in that. As far as these opinions are concerned, people getting upset about other people's opinions, relax. It's...
Why do you care?
I don't get it.
Enjoy what you enjoy.
Like, for instance,
to have civil conversations with people that you don't... Okay, you like this better. That's totally fine. That's no big deal. Whatever.
Like,
They're
you're
both
not
great.
hurting anyone. Like, if you think Battlefield's better than Titanfall, if you think Call of Duty's better than Titanfall, or Titanfall's better than Call of Duty, whatever it is, it's really irrelevant. Just as irrelevant as what I'm saying, Because really, it's ultimately about you as an individual and what you like to play and what you like to do. But I wouldn't try to close yourself off or box yourself off from people borrowing other ideas from other people. This does go, however, in contrast to what I say often as well, which is that we are desperate indeed for new ideas as well. The good news is that we're getting those in droves. So a familiar touchstone, or a familiar way to play is much needed as well. Maybe not for me so much anymore, but for many. I'm not going to sit here and try to change the gaming industry for everyone any more than the people that try to censor games and do all those things are trying to change it for everyone. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm simply going to put out there what I think, and you can continue to buy what you want to buy.
Exactly. Let the market decide.
Exactly. But I think that these games are intrinsically linked, and you'd have to be wanting to be pretty foolish to not see that. Sure. Obvious thing, especially in this.
I mean, I'm happy
especially in this new one.
I hadn't played I hadn't been excited for a Tomb Raider game in forever. And then when they redid it and went the Camilla Luddington way, and that's when I was back on board. Not because I hated the other ones, just because I've done this, I've seen this. This isn't when I think of Tomb Raider, that have come before, it feels so dated when we were still getting the braided hair Lara adventures, and when it was still kind of set in that universe. And even when they toyed around with it a bit, it was still felt like it was. So to get out of it, I say I'm all for it. Kevin, you came in at a good time. It's time to meet your new best friend. This is P.S. I Love This Best Friend XOXO. This is where you beautiful bastards go to kindafunny.com/forums and submit your PSN name so you can get all sorts of friend requests and good vibes from the community on PSN.
Good vibrations. Just a little Beach Boys for you.
Yeah, you were slow though.
Really? I think I was perfectly metered actually.
Do it again. Good vibrations. This one comes from John.
How fast? Wait.
John
How
says,
fast
Greg,
do you want it to be?
Good vibrations.
No, you're too fast. I don't think you're singing the same song.
Colin, how are you fine gents doing? I'm really good, John. Thanks for reaching out. I'll get to the point. I have finally become a PlayStation 4 owner. Yes, I have finally packed away the PS3, shut down the Wii U, and stepped into 2016. It's been a long road, but I can now finally experience what you all rave about. And my God, the hype is real. Currently in Chapter 9 of Uncharted 4, and I am blown away by the system. I cannot wait to experience so much more. Once I'm done with the story, I plan on getting behind the wheel for some Rocket League. I will be honored if the ever so loving best friends would join me and add me on PSN. Let's hit some balls together. My username is Selkies24. That's SELKIES 24. P.S. I fucking love you guys so much. Take care, John. Everybody, send Selkies24 friend request if you would like to play some Rocket League and you'd like to talk to our friend John, who finally put his PS3 and Wii U out to pasture.
Good vibrations.
This week's Forgotten PlayStation game was submitted by Daniel the Awesome at kindafunny.com/PSQ. He writes in and says, "Hello, Colin. Hopefully, Greg won't tell me to get fucked this week. My nomination for Forgotten PlayStation game is Half Minute Hero for the PSP. It was an RPG with a variety of game modes and in a retro art style. It was a great little pick up and play game and was one of my most played titles on the PSP. There was a remake on PC and Xbox, so maybe it will come home to Sony in the future. Thanks for the shot at redemption, XOXO." Because, of course, Daniel the Awesome, this is the motherfucker who tried to say Dark Void last week.
Oh, Jesus.
Almost fucking drove to
You were
his
really
house.
polite to give him another chance.
You know what? Well, you know how much I love Half Minute Hero. Did you play Half Minute Hero? Were you a fan of Half Minute Hero?
I did mess around with it a little bit, yeah.
It was super cute. You ran into each other over and over because there was a timer counting down and you would die if the timer hit 0. And it started obviously at 30 seconds for most of the time. There was a few things that played around with it.
A good game, good pick up and play for the PSP.
And it was fun to jump into and then figure out how to survive and what you needed to do and how to, extend your time. So that's a good pick, Daniel the Awesome. You are unfucked this week. Congratulations.
Unfucked.
Colin, would you like to hear PSN's worst name of the week?
Sure.
This is where one of our beautiful best friends writes in to kindafunny.com/forums and gives us a bad PSN name. Usually their own, but I'm lifting that one here for Normie98.
Normie, I'm just listening to good vibrations.
Normie98 writes in and says, "Hello, Colin and Greg, or Greg and Colin, if that's what you prefer. I am in the worst name of the week forum for a friend of a friend. This person has pretty much stopped playing games due to a ban on his account, among other reasons. His account name was Jizzy Mac and Cheesy, all one word, Jizzy Mac and Cheesy. He was primarily a Destiny player, but one day, poof, his account is banned for offensive language. Parentheses. Just to note, Jizzy was a nickname and had minimal reference to the excrement of male arousal." End quote.
I don't believe it.
His characters in progress are gone and he has to make a new account but barely plays anymore. I think an account ban is too harsh for a name. And although there are ways to unban the account, all that I know of includes losing all your progress, trophies, and saves. Practically making a new account. Shuhei, please figure out a way to change account names. I wouldn't want my account to be banned and unusable forever. Parentheses. I would probably throw my PS4 out the window. End parentheses. Also, why can't we use spaces? My name can look obnoxious. SD_shake_n_bake. SD shake and bake. Let me tell you, it doesn't occasionally look obnoxious. That is an obnoxious name.
That's obnoxious.
So there you go, Normie98.
Good vibrations.
You're getting there. You're
That
close.
was a little faster than I thought.
Told ya.
On.
Hashtag Greg was right. All right, stop it. I don't want to get a
You think the
copyright
Beach Boys
strike
are
on
gonna
this.
get?
I'm sure they are. They're coming for us right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been P.S. I Love You XOXO, episode 61. Thank you for joining us. Remember, P.S. I Love You XOXO is kindafunny.com's PlayStation podcast. It is the #1 PlayStation podcast on the internet, and it posts every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and podcast services around the globe. So please subscribe to all the channels connected to kindafunny.com. Watch the podcast. Be a friend to each other. Be good. We'll see you at PSX Sunday, December 4th, noon. PS I Love You XOXO live with the non-cowardly David Jaffe, who's a nice man. Every episode of P.S. I Love You, XOXO, ends in a song in a segment we call Singing a Shoe. Hey, this is where one of you talented motherfuckers goes to kindafunny.com/PSM. The M is for music. You submit your YouTube version of the song and your MP3 version of the song. That way I can annotate to your YouTube video at the end of our YouTube video and put your MP3 at the end of our MP3.
Isn't that nice?
Huh?
Isn't that nice?
It is nice. You know what I mean?
You do a really good service.
We pay it forward. Now, here's a young boy who's writing and who dreams of being a rapper one day. His name is Megaran.
Oh.
Megaran writes in and says, "Hey, y'all. One of my best friends and collaborators, Rhyme Time, put out a banger of a song/video this week featuring little old me. For all the wrestling maniacs, here's punchlines and clotheslines. Dig it. No one was hurt during the video, ... that didn't totally ask for it because they backyard wrestle in this video and then they go to a real wrestling ring. Get Rhyme Time's new album, Gnarly, wherever fine music is bought, streamed, or stolen. See you soon, Megaran. P.S. I love you, XOXO. He added in XOs there. So, Colin, to play us out with a cameo by Megaran is Rhyme Time with punchlines and clotheslines.
Hold on, before you go, one more thing. Before you go, I won't be here next week.
Yeah.
You'll be doing the episode with someone else.
Right.
So I want
Not Gio Corsi because he's a coward.
So I want to wish everyone out there a happy and healthy Thanksgiving here in the United States.
Sure.
Hope you enjoy yourself.
What if they're from Canada?
We don't care about you.
Gotcha.
But if you're from the United States, thank you, Kevin. But if you're from the United States and you're celebrating, have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourself and your families. Be well, and don't go out on Black Friday. Don't participate. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Now you can go back to whatever it is you were doing.
Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.